Hi guys, welcome to the next video in this series. Today we're going to continue with our Obelisk. We're going to continue working on this guy. We're going to bring it into Zbrush and we're going to get this into a very nice state. So first of all, I want to go to the right view here and there's a couple things I want to fix. Like this guys, I want to snap them there so they're completely like symmetrical, and I'm going to modify this so that the angle is pretty nice like this. I actually want to grab like this front vertex right here. Not those ones, of course, and just scale them so they're completely straight. Like I want the front face of the obelisk to be completely straight. Now, if we press number 3, of course, this obelisk looks completely wrong and very like ugly and stuff. There's a couple of, it seems like there's a couple of faces, like weird faces here. I don't think so. It's just the triangles that are making it like really difficult. So what I'm gonna do, even though we're not gonna be using these edge loops, I am gonna add a couple of edge loops just to help the overall silhouette like work a little bit better. So for instance, there, one edge loop there, and there. Like on all of the main borders, pretty much. I'm gonna add one edge loop. Like there, we're gonna get some angles, that's fine. You'll see why once we get into Zbrush. Like let's go there and there. Or in this case, I'm just gonna go to the front view. And with just the cut tool, I'm just gonna cut across. Actually, I think that would have been better right here. Just cut across, cut across, cut across. That should save me from having angles. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because in Zbrush, we want to use a little bit of divide before we jump into dynamesh. And by doing this, as you can see, the division won't be as bad as what we have right here. Oh, it seems like we did not have the faces up here. That's weird. I'm just gonna bridge there and bridge there. There we go. So now I'm just gonna grab the object. Let's delete history. I'm gonna say File, Export Selection, and we're gonna export this as an FBX. Remember to turn on the FBX plugin into Windows, Settings and Preferences, Plugin Manager. You just type in FBX and you should get the FBX option. Just export it out. And now we go here. Inside of Zbrush, let's Preferences, Initialize. Oh, today it's Monday. I'm recording this on Monday. It actually didn't load properly. Let me reload it. And school just started over here in Mexico. Not everywhere, but in some of the universities that I teach at. And I have a full schedule now, so it's kind of late at night, and I'm recording for you guys, which is a pleasure, by the way. I'm not complaining. I'm just a little bit tired, so this video might be a little bit shorter than usual because I really need to sleep. So I'm gonna import this thing real quick. Let's go into the assets folder. Not that one. It's right here. There we go. And I'm not thinking straight anymore. Hopefully I'm not gonna say stupid things in the video. There we go. So we just load the Obelisk. In the newest versions of Zbrush, you can load the FBX directly, which is very good. And here's the thing that I'm gonna show you. So if I were to press Ctrl D to divide this thing, you can see that we're gonna get a division, but we're also gonna get softened edges like everywhere on weird places, and we're gonna lose the very nice sharp shape that we had before. So I'm gonna go into the geometry options, and on the divide options, I'm gonna turn off smooth. So I'm just gonna divide, and as you can see, this is dividing the geometry. We're getting more and more polygons without losing this very sharp object that we have. And the reason why I want to do this is that's gonna help me with the dynamesh. I hope so. I'm gonna go into geometry. I'm gonna go now into dynamesh. I'm gonna delete lower so that we don't have any other subdivisions. And if we hit dynamesh, of course, everything's gonna like get together like this, and we're gonna get some very weird effects. So we definitely need to increase the resolution. I'm gonna go quite heavy, like 800. I'm gonna turn polish on because I want to keep the hard edges. And yeah, I'm just gonna hit dynamesh. Let's see if this holds the shape a little bit better. Yeah, it did pretty much, very nicely. Now you can see that we have a little bit of an issue up here, but that's relatively easy to fix later on. But everything else, look at that. Like we have very nice, like the shape that we had on the concept, but now with the proper elements. So the first thing I'm gonna do is, and I actually think in the concept that this guy had, where's the image? Should be in the folder. In the concept, this guy had this. I think that top part was actually like together or combined. Yeah, I really apologize, guys. It's been a long day and my brain is not working anymore. There we go. So we're here. We're pushing through. Don't worry. Next few days, I have less classes, and I'm gonna be able to record a little bit better, or in a better position, and hopefully get you a nicer result here. So there's a couple of things that I really like about this concept that we need to start incorporating. Some of them are like this triangular shapes right here. So you see this triangular shape, this one right here, and this one right here. Those are like very clean cuts. They are actually not like it's not the stone that's been chipped. I can think that this is like a deliberate cut from whoever did this. So we're gonna talk about a very useful tool inside of Zbrush, which is called live booleans. And it's a relatively old tool. It's been out for a couple of years now. It's very cool. So as you can see, we have this sort of like shape, right? And I know that if I could get a square, so I'm just gonna say append a square, and I could subtract this square shape from that specific area, we would be able to get the shape that we want. So I'm gonna go 30 degrees there, and then on the front view, I'm gonna go 45 degrees. I'm gonna make the square smaller. How small? I can see here that it's very similar to the like cut on the top. So right about there. Now I'm gonna go here and click this option here, which is reset orientation, so we can bring this cube down like very straight like this. I'm gonna snap it pretty much there. I think we can probably go like this, like a sharper angle. Now let's push it back. Now I'm gonna turn up this option right here, which is called live boolean. And the way booleans work is very easy. You grab a shape, you grab another shape, and you can subtract shape from the shape. You can combine shapes, or you can get the intersection of the shapes. It's like traditional math booleans. So the options are right here. This is union, this is subtraction, and this is intersection. So we're just gonna go here in the cube and click this subtraction button. And as you can see, we subtract the cube from the shape. Now this has not been applied to the geometry just. This is just a preview. We're gonna get the geometry later on. However, I can see here that this thing actually goes like quite far. So I'm gonna go here to the cube, and I'm gonna start probably bringing this up or out. Let me turn off this so that we can see what's going on here. So it's something like this. Let's go back here. And the cool thing about live booleans is that you can actually see in real time how the boolean is affecting the mesh, so that you can get the effect that you want. So it seems like there we go. My angle was a little bit wrong. Look at that. See that nice little shape? Now we can like push this out, and we get that shape exactly like what we want. It's pretty much the shape that we want. Yeah, that's the angle. That's it. So that's the angle. That seems to be the distance as well. So now what I'm gonna do, since I want this on the 4 sides, I'm gonna grab this guy. I'm gonna go C plugin, subtool master. I'm gonna say mirror, and I'm gonna mirror to the C axis. Sorry, so to the back, and you can see that the live boolean is applying there as well. I'm gonna duplicate this tool. And then these cubes, since they're pivot point, I can center the pivot point and reset the pivot point. I should be able to rotate them around 90 degrees, get them there, and now we have the effect as well. So that would be very difficult to do by hand, so that's why live booleans here play a very nice role. And we can do the same for pretty much all the shapes here. Like this shapes right here, we can just create a cube and go around the whole thing. Like this guy's right here, I'm gonna do the same thing with live booleans, and this one especially I think are gonna be important to live booleans. So let's do the little cubes very quickly. So I'm gonna hit append. I'm gonna go for a cube right here. I'm gonna hit R to scale this down. Let's go here. So as we can see here, we have 2 on each side. So it should be fairly small. I would say right about there. I'm gonna hit Control Alt and move this to the side so that we get a second copy right there. As you can see, they're not going all the way out. This one seems to be a little bit more like a rectangular shape, so I'm gonna make it smaller. Let's push it in like this. Now we duplicate. There we go. I'm gonna say C plugin, subtool master mirror. In this case, it's gonna be X axis. Hit OK, so we get this. And again, if we subtract, we're gonna get that very nice like cut in there. Some of you might say, well, couldn't we do this on Maya, like model this properly with all the topology? And the answer is yes, But why bother? Why go all like through all the complicated steps to do this like topology in Maya when we're gonna be doing a retopology for games? We're gonna be creating a clean geometry from this because we need to chip the stone and add more details. So it's just easier to go here and just do this. So I'm just gonna duplicate, same deal. I'm gonna W and then center the pivot point and rotate this 90 degrees and set this to negative. And that way we get the exact same holes on all of the sides. Now we have these little triangles here. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm not gonna waste the time in this video to do this, guys. I don't think it's really necessary. We do have these ones right here, which are very close to these ones over here. So I'm gonna grab the squares. It's the second ones. And what I can do is I can actually just like duplicate with Alt. And you can see we get that nice little shape there. So it's inverted, so let's invert this 180 degrees. And I'm just gonna place them where they're supposed to be. They seem to be slightly smaller. So see how easy it is to create this like sharp shapes right there? Very, very clean, very, very easy. Now we get those shapes. Now we have these triangles, which again, okay, let me show you how I would do this. Unfortunately, we don't have a triangle, right? Like if I wanted to create a primitive here, we don't have a triangle primitive. However, we have a cube. And with the cube, right now this thing has a lot of divisions, but if we go all the way down to the initialize tab, I can actually bring the divisions down to 1. So 1, 1, and 1. And you can see that this is more like a... Hey, why is it not giving me? I think there was another option. Where was it? Can't remember. I think it was initialize. No, it is initialize. Okay, I mean that's fine. I'm just gonna make this a polymesh 3D, and then I'm gonna press B, and I'm gonna go to the C modeler options. And what I want to do is I'm gonna go into vertex mode. And I'm gonna, into edge mode, and I'm gonna use the collapse. So I'm gonna collapse this edge, and this edge, and as you can see, we have this like triangular shape. Now the axis of the triangular shape, as you can see, it's not aligned to the whole thing. So I'm gonna move it so that it's aligned. Reset the, move it so that it's at least pointing to the center, and that way it's gonna be a little bit easier to control. And then I'm just gonna go into my my obelisk right here. This one, there we go. I'm gonna hit append. I'm gonna go into the new cube that I created, which is this one right here. And again, should be fairly easy to modify. So as you can see, we have the right side pointing up. So I am gonna just rotate this thing around like this, rotate this thing around like this, and that's gonna be this one right here. Scale it down, scale it down. Reset the pivot point so that it's easier to control. So we have up, down, and all that stuff. We definitely need to get the rotation that we have here on the element so that the imprint goes exactly like we want. The first one is, it has 1, 2, 3, where the triangle ends, and then 1, 2, 3. So I think I would expect this one to be. It's 1. Let's start with this one, with the first one, with this one right here. Seems to be a little bit longer than 90-degree angle, so I'm gonna push it like this and make it longer, and I'm gonna make it like I'm gonna subtract it, as you can see here. So very easy subtraction. It's already working, and now it's just a matter of pressing Control Alt and moving this thing up, and we have that one right there. That's the second one, and then the third one. There's a little bit of a space, and that's the cool thing. Like I don't want to make these things like super exact, so maybe here I do want there to be a little bit of a gap. But then on the second one, I want to leave like a little bit of extra material there, which of course is going to impact the retopology process, but it shouldn't be that bad. Let's bring this back or down. I'm pressing Control Alt to duplicate this whole thing. And then we have this one, which we do need to push a little bit like closer to the center. We also need to rotate slightly so that it follows the curvature a little bit better. And then Control Alt. Same deal here, just push it here, rotate slightly. Let's scale it just a little bit to create a little bit of of asymmetry in certain areas. And one more. Maybe make this one slightly smaller here. And there we go. We have that nice little like triangular shape going up into the obelisk. And I do believe that the proportions are quite there. So now it's just a matter of saying C plugin, subtool master, mirror. We hit OK. Oh, sorry, wrong edge or wrong axis. So again, C plugin mirror in this case is the x-axis, which we have that one. And there we go. We have the nice thing. And again, great thing about this, if we want to make this deeper, we can just like push them forward, and there we go. Now, as you can see, there is a little bit of something there, so I'm just gonna like that area right there. See, I don't like that area, but we can erase it later. Like that, there's ways to fix it. And I actually think that it's a little bit broken there, so yeah, not a big deal so far. This is again just the construction of the base mesh. So I'm just gonna do one more line, guys, and we're gonna leave it here for now. Tomorrow we'll continue with more details. It's just a short video showing you the live booleans, which is a great tool. And I want to show you this lines right here because it's a little bit tricky, right? It might seem a little bit complicated, but it's actually shouldn't be that bad. So I'm gonna start with a square. So I'm gonna say cube. Sorry, cube, not the square. See what I'm telling you guys? I'm going crazy. And I can't drink coffee now because otherwise I'm not gonna sleep. So let's make it roughly the size. It's a little bit thinner than the triangles, so something about this. Just make it bigger. And I can see that this thing is going like, I would say like 15 degrees or 20 degrees up, probably like 25 degrees up. So something like this. Now I'm gonna say, again, delete this thing, bring it in. We definitely want this thing to go in the same angle as the wall. It doesn't seem to go like that deep, so I'm gonna keep it like relatively deep like this. The distance, as you can see here, from this triangle to this first one is not as big, so I'm gonna bring this thing. I'm gonna let's go here. I want to keep it as consistent as possible. Might want to make it slightly thinner. Slightly thinner. If we need to rotate, that's fine. We'll just rotate again. That looks good enough. I am gonna now duplicate this thing and bring it up. And of course it needs to come in again like this. And we're gonna get this thing. Probably not as wide, doesn't seem as wide. That's a little bit better. Still a little bit too wide, I think. That's better. And now the only tricky ones here are the side, because I know that here I can just say transform, or sorry, C plugin, and we can say mirror, and we're gonna mirror on the x-axis, and there we go, right? Like we have the other side. However, on the back side, things are not gonna be exactly the same because well, it's just not the way they work. So I'm just gonna Control D and duplicate these guys. I'm gonna rotate them until they're kind of like straight. I want to try and match them the best as I can here, so that when we see them from the back, they're working as well. Like I want to make sure, I want to try and see if I can match all of the sides, which is what I would expect, even though the things are not perfectly matching. So I'm gonna just duplicate this. What can we do here? Yeah, I'm gonna duplicate these guys. Now I have two of them or several of them. I'm gonna isolate select one of these guys and delete hidden so that we only have the front guys again. And then I'm gonna, or actually no, before I do that, I'm gonna center the pivot, which should be close to the middle. I should be able to, no, it's not letting me. There we go. Should be able to get them as close as possible to like a middle ground. Yeah, that's not bad actually. Let's turn on this thing right here. And then with scale, I'm gonna scale them out. But yeah, it's gonna be a little bit difficult to like properly calibrate this guy. So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna delete one side, delete hidden. Let's go here. And now with this guys, should be a little bit easier to to try and find the proper intersection there, see? So, and we can do a little bit of cleanup later on the final sculpt as well. Like, this doesn't mean that we have to complete the whole thing here. I'm gonna go into my options here, or I mean, I can just, yeah, it is tricky. You know what? There's another way in which we can do this, I think. Can we? I'm trying to think the best way to do the cut and make sure that this is as clean as possible. Okay, yeah, I know what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna delete this, guys. I'm gonna append a new cube. Oh, not that one. Just the final line. This is the final part. So, thank you for staying so long, even though I'm not as entertaining today. Hopefully you're still learning some cool tips and tricks here. So yeah, so I'm gonna go here. I am gonna move the pivot point of my cube to the base of the cube, and then I'm gonna position the cube on the proper like distance right here. Scale it so that we match it as close as possible, something like that. And then when we scale from here, as you can see, the scale is gonna go on the direction of the actual element right now, so we can get this into the negatives, make this smaller, and rotate it like 25 degrees. We can duplicate this thing right here, and then just kind of like eyeball the whole thing here. Get again as close as possible, because we're gonna be breaking up stuff and doing some interesting changes here. So okay, we go there. That's a little bit, it's closer to what I'm looking for. Let's go here and let's move this. I'm still using my series measure. We can just like the move brush. Yeah, I mean, again, I think we can, let's mask. I'm gonna change to mask lasso. I'm gonna mask this part out and just move this thing so that we actually match it. So now when we divide this, we get those holes right there, which again, not perfect, but we can do a little bit of polish later on, and that's also gonna give me a little bit of imperfection, which again, as I've mentioned several times now, it's always a good thing. So there we go. So now the obelisk, like the main booleans of the obelisk, are ready. Tomorrow we're gonna do the main damages, as I mentioned, but there's one more thing I need to do. This is not a solid object right now, so I am gonna go into the subtool menu, go into the boolean options, and say make boolean mesh. So now the mesh that's gonna be created up here, this one right here, this actually has the actual topology, because the other one was just a preview. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into geometry again, dynamesh polish, and I'm gonna have like a really big number, like 1,000. I'm gonna hit dynamesh, and this should give me, as you can see, a very nice, like solid, like edge pretty much everywhere. So this is perfectly fine. We have enough geometry and enough topology to start working on the details. But that we're gonna do tomorrow when I get a good night's sleep. So thank you for hanging out, guys. Thank you for checking this out. Please make sure to leave a comment, like, share, subscribe. You know the drill, and I'll see you back tomorrow. Bye bye.